and welcome to the Golden Hour. I am Golden Duffy, your host, and we are going to stop suffering in silence today. I've got a couple of things to share with you. The hour's going to go by really fast, but make sure I'll let you guys know what the time is when I start the release, because I've decided I'm going to do a full chakra release. If you've never done this before, it's really cool. It really helps to release heavy energy in your body, and then we bring in the light energy to allow you to let go of some blockages. You know, over the course of our lives, we are told things about ourselves. We experience traumas. We experience this outside world in a certain way, depending on how we feel about ourselves, what we've been given as far as belief systems. And those belief systems and how we feel about ourselves really conducts in our environment. And when you don't have a connection to your truth because you've shut it down over so much time, because you've been given evidence that when you do share how you feel, it doesn't work out, right? You have breakups, you have people leaving you, you have abandonment issues, all of those things causes you to say, you know what? I'm just going to be quiet, because when I'm quiet, then people stay around. When I'm people pleasing, people want to be part of my life. And the truth is, you are bypassing your truth when you do this. You're not really living in your true worthiness. And that could be a huge blockage to your manifestation. You know, if you don't believe that you are worthy, if you don't believe that you deserve things, if you believe everybody else is more important than you, then how can the universe bless you with that type of energy coming out of you, that type of signal? So I want you to get really clear about what the signal is that you're sending out about yourself. What do you say to yourself? You know, what is that? I like to call it the shitty committee. What is that committee saying in your mind that you are believing and then you are actually manifesting from? So get really clear about that. If you're not clear and conscious about that, and you're in the belief system that you are your thoughts, and that, you know, that nasty voice inside of you, that self-critical voice inside of you is you, then you've got some work to do in separating that. And I always suggest meditation, because it's going to help give us some space between that voice and between who you really are. And then you're going to start to expand and grow beyond it. You're going to start seeing that voice, and you're going to start saying, that's not true. That's not true. I'm adding a lot of value to this world. I am creating a lot of incredible energies in the world, and I should be able to receive them back. I am opening myself up to receive the goodness that is coming to me. All of that takes some practice, and it takes expansion and growth. It takes your soul's journey to another level. I have had a lot of relationships end, a ton of relationships, really pivotal relationships in my life. Biological family, friends who I thought would be friends for my whole life. So many people that left because I didn't speak up, or because I did speak up. So because over the course of time, if we don't speak up, if we don't share how we really feel, then when we do, it can be cataclysmic. Like, it can be something that forces the relationship to end or to never be the same again. And that has definitely happened to me. Am I upset about that? I'm not, because I believe in the journey. I believe in the destination. I believe that those relationships ending actually brought me to a new place of worthiness. It showed me what I'm going to tolerate in my life, what I'm going to allow in my life, and what relationships are really signifying to me. You know, if you have a relationship and it is all give, 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 and your energetic exchange is way off, you have to look at that. If you're in relationships and you're never supported, you have to look at that. And if you don't look at that, you're just going to be frustrated. You know, until this past year, I was tolerating a lot of relationships that were so much less than me, and they were, you know, just completely unsupportive of what I was doing, and maybe jealous. I don't know what exactly was going on, because they ended because I had had enough, and was never able to use my voice to say what needed to be said. I did use my voice, but I wasn't heard. So that's also another part of it. If you are sharing how you feel and the people are getting super defensive and they're blaming you and they're getting passive aggressive, then you know that this relationship is not about supporting your inner truths, that it's not about carrying you into the next phase of your expansion and growth. That definitely happens because some people can't handle it. They're not at that point in their journey where they can, and this isn't about like telling people off or blaming people for what they're doing. This is about acknowledging your own truth and how you feel and what you need from a relationship to actually feel like it's cohesive, like it's a manifestation of what you're looking for in a relationship. There have been times, I'm sure, that relationships have ended that I potentially could have, but I wouldn't because I didn't because of destiny, right? But they could have been improved if I had been able to share how I felt. But when we get to the point where it's just so far gone that we don't feel like there's any saving it, and then the other person, this has happened to me a lot, where the other person doesn't even come back and try. They don't even try. And you're just like, I guess I wasn't really that important to you, because if I was important to you, you would come back, you would talk to me, you would try to work this out. I'm not a cold person. I'm always open to conversations. And then there have been those relationships where we have tried to come back together, but there was so much that people couldn't handle, as far as like what I was saying or the truths that I was laying out. There was so much of that couldn't be handled, that those relationships, ended as well. So if you can look back over the course and the cycles of your friendships and what has really caused the demise of a lot of your relationships, I guarantee it will be because you or they could not communicate in a healthy way that allowed the relationship to grow and expand. If we can't really talk about the way we feel, it often leads us to resentment, and that resentment is just it lowers your vibration. It really lowers your vibration. So think about the way that you feel in your core relationships, in your friendships. Think about the way you feel towards these people. Think about the way that you act towards these people, or the way that they act towards you. You've got to take some consciousness into your relationships and ask yourself, is this really working for me? Is this person using me? Do I feel used? Do I feel like I'm the one who's always chasing? I've had a lot of friendships end because the other person, I had a really good friend back in Connecticut who used to say, I'm a terrible friend. And she would say that all the time. And it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm just going to accept you as a terrible friend and we're going to be friends. And once I left Connecticut, we aren't friends anymore. I think if we saw each other, we'd pick up like it was yesterday, but I couldn't really be in a relationship with a terrible friend anymore. Like it just wasn't working. So ask yourself about your relationships and look at each one and what you're giving and what you're getting. And if there's an exchange. There are times when we're giving more and they're giving more. There are times of that ebb and flow of relationships, but the ones that really have withstood time for me have been very small. The number has been very small, and the ability to communicate has been very large. There has been a very open communication about what is needed in a friendship, and there's compassion and there's love and there's an unconditionality. Yeah, an unconditionality to our relationship where, it's almost like there's no deal breakers because nobody's pushing the envelope on the deal breaking, if you know what I mean. All right, so why does this happen? Why do we enter into relationships or enter into certain situations and our voice literally closes down? And you may not feel like you have a lot of control over this. I get that. I totally get that. And I've been there. I have had where the times that I tried to get back with my biological family, I shut down. Like I literally felt like I was 5 years old again, and I could not speak. I couldn't speak. And when I look back over why that was, I can place times in my life when I was very young or an adolescent or a teenager. And I remember screaming at my parents, like bloody murder screaming, because they wouldn't hear me. And I thought, if I raised my voice loud enough, they'd be able to hear me. So when you do that enough times, it's called a trauma response. When you do that enough times and you're still not heard, you will tend to shut it down because it's such an adrenaline rush. It is such it's such an exhaustive method of getting your point across. And we always say in our family, it's not a teaching moment. Once you get to that point, it's like, it's not a teaching moment. Nobody's going to hear anybody when they're screaming at each other because everybody's in their own anger and their own emotional rashness where the response you can't receive. It's like there's too much energetic flow out to receive anything in. So when you get like that and you've done it over and over again, or you've spoken and you've been punished or hit or abused or whatever, or, like that whole gaslighting thing where people kind of turn things around on you and then you feel like the bad guy. Over time, that becomes a trauma response, and then it's going to be triggered throughout different experiences. So you could be in front of a total stranger, fighting about a parking spot, and all of a sudden you notice that you can't speak, that you're just shutting down. It could be very random things that causes you, out of control people, drunk people, those things can cause me to shut down because I don't like to be around that because I've got trauma responses from my childhood that have solidified that within my own DNA, within my own structure, my own cellular structure. So we do have that. Can we get over it? Absolutely, we can. But it takes a willingness to look at those responses and ask ourselves why we feel that way. Do some journaling on this. Why do I feel this way? Where does this come from? And am I willing to work enough to overcome that? Am I willing to use my voice in ways that will condition me to start responding differently? And I shared a Facebook post, I think it was yesterday, or a blog post. If you're interested in getting my blogs to your email, my posts to your email, you can subscribe at www.livelifegolden.com. Just subscribe, and then my blog will come to you every day that I remember. I'm still getting used to it. I was just on vacation, and I don't think I remembered to do it once, but coming back to that. So we're working on the notion that when we shut our voices down, when we don't share how we feel in the littlest things. So that means when you go and you order your coffee and they screw up your coffee and you just suffer in silence and you drink it and you hate every sip of it, or you throw it in the garbage and you basically threw what, $10 out now? Instead, if you were to go back to that person, and a lot of this is just being afraid of confrontation or being afraid of looking like a jerk, right? Being afraid of being judged. If we are loving and compassionate in our responses to these things, they're going to be received a lot differently than if we're angry. So keep that in mind. That's really important. So if you just go back and you say, listen, this isn't exactly the way I like it. Can you do this, this, or this? You're going to be more likely to get what you want versus suffering in silence. And that's with a lot of different things. That's with haircuts and different things that you're doing throughout your life. There are opportunities where you could speak up, where you could ask for what you want, where you could, instead of sitting there and suffering, you could actually ask for what you want, because you can't get what you don't ask for. And one of my favorite sayings is ask and it is given every time. So if you really want to live a life where you feel like you're manifesting, where you feel like your desires are coming to you, where you set the bar, the vibrational bar, that's what we're doing with this. We're setting the vibrational bar to where we want to be so that we can manifest other things. So this isn't just about, oh, I need to ask for what I want because, I'm suffering in silence. It's not just about that. It's about the vibration of it. The vibration of it says, I don't matter. The alignment of it says, I am not worthy. The whole foundation of it is, I don't deserve what I say that I want, right? That's the foundation of it. And that foundation is detrimental to your manifestational power, to your higher vibrational living, which is where all the abundance is, and the love and the gratitude. It's above this. It's speaking your truth and watching as you embrace that truth, and watching what the world does in reflection to that. In the beginning, it may be a little wonky. I'm not going to lie, because we're going to be unsure, right? We're going to be a little off. We're going to feel a little tension. There's a ton of social anxiety going on. And I think a lot of it had to do with the past couple of years and what we've experienced. But I also think a lot of it is people who have allowed their minds to get away with it. They've allowed their lives to shrink. And the more you shrink your life, the more social anxiety you're going to have. I watched it with my girls, and uh, I'm really fascinated by what they've done. So my younger girls, they are now 20 and 22. They went through, high school and COVID and the whole thing. And when it came to getting back out into the world after being home, after being secluded for so long, they were both not well. They were both not okay. So they were incredibly socially anxious. They had a really hard time talking to people. And I see this a lot. I see this a lot in our society. And a big part of it is a massive amount of judgment of yourself. So you're judging yourself. You're afraid that everybody else is going to judge you. And when you do that, when you have anxiety, you shut down your flow of wisdom to have conversations, to communicate with people. I have shared before that I feel like one of the greatest ways that we grow, and one of the biggest points of us being here, is to be in relationship, is to create community, is to be one with another, to resonate with one another. We are one. We already are. But we've separated ourselves in such a way that it has created a detriment in our society that we need to get back to. So the ways that my girls got over social anxiety is they went out and got jobs. Honestly, if your teenager, young adult is struggling, you have got to push them to get out into the world and get a job, no matter how painful it is, no matter how much they kick and scream. Getting out there and doing it will radically change. One of my daughters, I just watched her enter a new job where she's in a sales position. She's working for a crystal shop, really amazing place. And so it's just her in the shop, and she's got to sell. She's got to sell stuff in the shop. And the first day she was like, I don't think this is for me. And now I think we're on like week 3 of her being there, and she's thriving. And she's like, this is fantastic. I love this. So they may not always love it, because there is a belief, there's a belief in there that they don't like it. And if they ride on that belief, they will continue to create from it. But if they can get over that, if they can step outside their comfort zone, and if you're having social anxiety as well, I highly recommend putting yourself in places where you have to talk to people, because the only way we get good at things is by talking to people. The first time I ever spoke, well, obviously I spoke in like high school whenever I would have to do reports. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Nervous, red, hot, ears pulsing. I mean, my heart beating in my ears, the whole thing. And when I got a little bit older and I started doing some stuff in our church, and that still didn't like it. I didn't like it. I would do it. I didn't love it. I think at the end of it, like when I started doing guided meditations, of course, the lights were off, and I always loved speaking when the lights were off and everybody's eyes were closed. But when I started doing network marketing and I really started to speak, at first it was hard. And then it became something that I really loved, and I became very easy at it. And I didn't really struggle with it anymore, because it became something, it was a muscle that I built. And that's how everything is. So if you are struggling with social anxiety, I would highly recommend getting out more, doing exactly what you don't want to do, because the more you are anxious socially, the harder life is going to be. It's just the way of it. I remember when my kids were little, we used to take them to parties and they would know no one. And we would say, we're Duffies. This is what we do. We make friends. And that was something that I feel really prepared them for life. If you meet any one of my girls, we have 4 of them. If you meet any one of them, they will chat with you. You will have a great conversation with them because they all know how to do it. They've all been conditioned to be in a society, to communicate with people, to exchange energy, which can be so thrilling. My daughters tell me stories all the time of the incredible people in their lives because they are open to receive that love. If you have the belief that you hate people, if you have the energy that you can't speak to people, if all of that is a signal that you're sending out. So people are going to be less likely to talk to you, less likely to want to communicate with you because you're putting up a wall, you're putting up a barrier to that condition, to that experience, to that really just wonderful way to live. It is when you can go out into the world and have a good time just going to the grocery store, your vibe is high and you're creating a higher vibration for everyone around you. And that adds to the collective conscious of the world. That uplifts the entire world when you do that. So you may not be masterful at first, but I'm telling you, it's just a practice. And I've thought about this recently. I'll share what we just did. It was so much fun. So my daughter, who lives in Connecticut, we're in California. My oldest daughter is in Connecticut, and she is creating a business for herself. Over the past year and a half, I think it is, she quit her job and she started doing taking down old barns and creating furniture. And she started doing festivals and shows and selling and doing custom work. And she also takes on some remodeling jobs as well. So she told us she was opening a store. She found a storefront that was absolutely perfect. And she told us she was opening the store. And we both, my husband and I, decided that we had to surprise her. We're like, we have to be there for this. Like, this is like she's having a baby. So we didn't tell her and booked our flight. And we showed up there on Thursday right around, I think it was around 5 o'clock, and she was outside planting flowers at the store and her husband was inside. And it was such a great moment. You can look at my Facebook, Goldyn Duffy. I have a video up there that was just so fun and so awesome. And our family surprised each other so many times. In fact, when we walked up, she said, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. And it was so funny because her best friend had messaged me while I was on the plane, and she said, please tell me you're going, because she's kind of banking on you guys being there. So, she knew we would do the right thing. So watching this girl just live her dream was a moment I never wanted to miss. Like, it was such a moment when everything was all done and and they needed our help. They really needed our help. Within 5 minutes of me getting there, I was scraping windows because they really needed our help. They had a lot of work to do. They would have done it without us, but it would have been really stressful. So it was really great to be there to kind of pick up whatever needed to be done and to help her lay the store out, which is something her and I are, and her dad and her husband, we're all so good. We make such a good team of like brainstorming and we really got that room to look like everything fit like a glove. So freaking cool. The whole day was jam-packed with people bringing her presents, people from high school, people from our high school. I mean, just people showing up in loving support of a woman who is really taking her dream. She's really decided, she made a decision, and it has manifested. And she did not think that the store was going to manifest so soon. So it's pretty cool to see this like condensed timeline that happens when you're really excited and you're really passionate and you really believe in what you're doing. So that was fantastic. And the moment of her walking into that store when it was all done and all complete, and the tears and being able to be there for that was like, it was a parent win of the century. It was really, my husband and I are so incredibly happy that we got to go and share in something that was so incredibly important in our daughter's life, and to know that that was going to be a moment that we needed to be there for. That was an intuition that we kind of both, it's crazy. We have these like at the exact same moment thoughts. And then I'll be like, well, when did you have that thought? I was like, when did you have that thought? And they're like, at the same moment. So it's pretty cool that we're in alignment that way, and both connected to our intuition to do the things that feel so right to us, and not, hyper concerned about the money or the work or, missing work or whatever, leaving our lives, whatever. Just having the importance of a relationship and showing up for someone. So in that, over those, the course of those days, and being back east where we, were born and raised, and then coming back home and feeling this incredible feeling of connection, connection to our family, connection to our dreams, watching this manifestation process. I shared a post this morning about misalignment, the misalignment of manifestation. And the misalignment of your manifestation is when you are in frustration and impatience and you are in distrust. When you are in doubt, anytime you are in doubt, anytime you are in unworthiness, those are all moments where you are separating yourself from the physical manifestation, from the energetic and the physical. Because if you could energetically align yourself with the manifestation, which means I have full confidence, I have full knowing, my vibration is at the point where it's already happened. So it's the next logical step because I already feel like it's happened. If you can put yourself there, you are in alignment with the manifestation. What always slows it down is that feeling of it's not happening fast enough, not doing anything, just sitting around waiting. My daughter, she's I don't think that she's really been looking for a storefront. So that was kind of cool. But what she's been doing is she's been doing it. She's been creating the furniture. She's been working at festivals. She's been taking down old barns. She's been in the identity of someone who owns the shop. So then this thing just like manifests, like all of a sudden she sees this shop and it's so perfect. She sees, you can follow her on Facebook at the Rusty Wood Company. That's the name of the business page. Or Jade, I think she's under Jade Summer Duffy Michael on Facebook, and Instagram. I think she's Jade the Carpentress on Instagram. Let me look at that real quick so you can follow her, because I'm going to have her on the show as soon as I can get her. She's not easy to get right now because she's so busy. Jade the Carpentress on Instagram. Her Instagram's funny. She's really funny. She shows what she's doing and building, and she's working on a loft right now, redoing a loft for people. So if you want to see a girl who's empowered, who's living her dreams, who doesn't take no for an answer, and kind of blows my mind when I see her do the things that she does. And I go, yeah, that's what we imagined when we said we were going to raise these independent, strong women. That's exactly what we imagined, independent, strong women. And every one of them are, which hasn't always been easy, but it's actually pretty wonderful now that they are adults. So if you are looking to manifest in the direction of your dreams, you have to ask yourself, am I acting as if? Or am I just sitting around waiting? If I want to be a writer, am I writing every day? Am I researching ways to write? Am I reading other people's stuff to get ideas? Am I taking courses? What am I doing to build myself up to that actually becoming that writer or that author? I've recently decided I want to write a novel. So I'm about to bring out, just publish my next book, which is a spiritual book on manifesting. And there's some fiction in it. I have some dreams that I kind of embellished on, had some messages come through my dreams. So it's pretty cool. But it kind of got me sparked for doing a novel, which is a fiction writing, and very different from what I've written. So that's my next feat, is to put out a novel that's really solid and interesting, and will get you to think, that will get you to learn and to think through story writing. So what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're looking to manifest? Are you happy where you are? If you're happy where you are, that is awesome. If you are happy and satisfied and fulfilled where you are, that's amazing. But just know this, the human condition is desire. the desire for more. We always have a desire for more. So you'll notice when you manifest really big things, it doesn't take long before you're on to the next thing, because that is life force. We are an expression of all that is, and it wants to be expressing life through us. So what's next? Are you working on something? Are you crafting? Are you creative? Are you singing? Are you dancing? Are you writing music? Whatever it is that you're interested in doing, you can do it now. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care how many jobs you have. I don't care how many family members you are taking care of. You can spend 15 minutes a day getting up a little bit early and working on your craft, because that 15 minutes a day is, in the manifestation world, in the energetic world, it's hours. It's hours and hours and hours, because it's energetic connection. It's energetic alignment. And anytime we are in alignment with the energy of what we are looking to manifest, the energy moves a lot faster. Energy is compressed when we do that. And that's what quantum leaping is all about. It's about knowing what we want. It's about putting the energy towards what we want, the intention, the working from our intuition, and stepping forward in faith to what we actually want to do. And sometimes it's selling everything you own and moving across the country. Sometimes it's those crazy things that creates an incredible amount of confidence in following your dreams. So think about what that is, what you're looking to manifest, and start taking some sort of steps towards it, whether it's research, whether it's a class. Writing a book, I always suggest this, is 3 pages a day, 15 minutes, 3 pages a day. Don't edit it, just write. Just write. Just write. It's like, it will flow. It will start to flow. And if you find yourself in that 15 minutes and it's not flowing, then just take a step back, close your eyes, and breathe for a little while, because there's no rush when it comes to your creativity, because everything is unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to. So if there are things that you feel like you've been waiting on for a while, remember, waiting is heavy energy. It's densing the energy. It's putting a weight on top of the energy. It's like putting a paperweight on top of your dreams. Don't do that anymore. Stop doing that. Ask yourself how you can create a little shift. You can create a little momentum. My daughter had a couple of things that she was consigning for other people. So she decided it would be a cool idea to take some of the small owned women businesses and put some of their stuff in her store. And she made money off of those. And there was a woman who came and she had these beautiful portrait pictures of Connecticut, just absolutely beautiful. And I felt so attracted to. And it didn't sell, and she didn't sell anything. And she told me that she hadn't sold them. She hadn't even sold one yet. And they were in a different store for more money. So I said, well, what feels good to you as far as charging? So she said, I think it was like $200. And so I said, all right, that feels good. So let's put it up for that. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm going to buy one. Like, I felt like really, really inspired to buy one. And I was like, this is the shift that she needs. Just a little shift. Sometimes we just need a little shift to make the energy flow in a different way that will cause us to see. Think about this for a second. Her signal that she was sending to her portraits was the store they were in. They're too expensive. They're too much money. Nobody's going to buy them. That's the signal she's sending. So we lower the price in my daughter's store and her energy changes. She shifts a little bit. She gets a little bit excited, right? Energy shifts. I buy one, and now her belief is I can sell pictures. And guess what I did when I got back? I bought another one. I bought another one for someone for a gift. So here we go. This is flow of energy. This is shifting the perspective. This is shifting the signal. So whatever you're looking to manifest, think about, what is the signal I've been sending to it? Have I been putting a lot of doubts out there? Because remember, that mind wants to work on problems. It wants to work on being dissatisfied. So your mind's going to look at that manifestation and go, you can't have it because of this. You can't do it yet because of this. How are you going to do this? Right? You have to shift that. You have to put yourself in place. Okay, if I was this person, if my daughter was the person who owned a store, what would she be doing? And really cool clarification for her was to realize that she doesn't really want to be doing these festivals. The festivals are a huge amount of work, a lot of money, and not a lot of return. So the greatest thing that happened on that day of her grand opening was she sold more that day than she ever did at any festival. Already made the month's rent for the property, and showed herself that the universe was in flow with her, that this was a right decision. So now she's got the confidence moving forward. And that feels fantastic. That feels so good, because when you're in the middle of doing all this and like, am I doing the right thing? And you just have to keep going to show yourself, and you just have to keep sending the right signal. That signal, you guys, is the most important thing you can do. Sending that signal of confidence, of it's going to be okay, of I trust, continuing to send that signal and interrupting anything else that goes against that signal is the greatest way to speed up the energy. Now, you're not going to totally screw up the energy by having doubts or fears. I've manifested quite a bit through my fears. It's just not as fun, and it doesn't happen as rapidly. So you can do the 11th hour manifesting, which I am not a fan of, because that's like you've done everything you can, you've exhausted everything, and now you're just letting go. And that's when it manifests last minute. And that doesn't feel great. So if you'd rather manifest a little more gently, I suggest you clean up your signal. Think about what you want. Get really clear about what you want. If you really want a storefront, imagine it, feel it, get your stuff ready for it. Get your furniture ready for it. Get your jewelry ready for it. Get whatever you want to put in that storefront ready for it, because that readiness tells the universe, yes, I'm ready. So I'm totally off topic, but I've decided recently, I used to do a lot of notes to stick to a subject, and I've decided recently that I'm just going to let it fly, that I'm going to let the inspiration come through to share what is coming through at the moment. So that was manifesting and misalignment. I really felt strongly that needed to be shared. The other part that I feel strongly needs to be shared is a new concept that came to me recently that I think is really helpful if you're going through a dark time. So we call darkness, we call, lower negative emotions, we call it depression. And I recently had a few days where I was super low. I mean, super low. And it might have been a week. It might have been a full week. And that is very odd for me. Still not totally sure what it was about, but I went within. Every day. I just meditated as much as I could. I got really quiet and I really went within. And I had some things shift in my family experience that was valuable for that time. So I heard this thing that made so much sense to me, and I have to share it with you. So instead of thinking about your darkness or your low times as depression, what if you thought of it as compression? So basically, depression, if we think about depression as you're not satisfied with the answers you're getting outside of you, you're not satisfied with what's going on in your external world, so you turn inside and you compress. And when you compress, you go within to find the answers within. Think about how many times and how many people, if you've ever read any of the books of the saints, I used to be Catholic, so I read a lot of the books of the saints, they all went through this dark night of the soul. And the spiritual awakening happened after it. And I have many examples of that with my clients, with my daughters, with myself, of having these super duper dark times and then allowing ourselves to, walk through that and come out with this huge awakening where we have a greater capacity for joy. We have a greater capacity for compassion. We understand when people are going through dark times because we went through it. So then we become something that people can resonate with, that we can shine the light back to when they're going through their darkness. I love, one of my favorite sayings is this too shall pass, because it does, it passes. And if you can walk through it in a way of real intention, where you are like, okay, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling pretty down. I'm feeling a lot of negative emotions. My mind is really having its way with me. what can I do that's going to help me to navigate this process in the greatest growth possible? That's an awesome question. That's an awesome question to ask yourself in those moments. And then start journaling, start meditating more, start going within more, and spending time just being, because it is a call to just be. When we are running around in the world, busy, 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 we are not paying attention to the internal world. So sometimes we've got to be pulled back to do the compressing part that will allow us to spiritually grow. So I thought that was a super helpful thing when I think about it, because, depression, when you think about depression, you think about being held down. Compression, when you think about going within, you think about going inside and asking yourself the important eternal questions, the spiritual questions. What's going on with me? What do I need? Why am I so unhappy? Those are important questions, because otherwise there's just a lot of running around and pleasing other people. So take that time to really get to know yourself better and embrace it instead of fight it. There's all this medication out there, and can't get by without it, and I'm really down and I got to get out of this. And a lot of it just alters who we are instead of connecting with who we are, right? We don't want to mask who we are. We don't want to dumb that down. We want to really know who we are so that we can navigate life from a clearer perspective. So that's depression, compression. If you think about it that way, I think it could shift it for you. I really do. And maybe for your loved ones around you. We all go through this stuff. There's these ebbs and flows of life. I'm recently started reading Anna Quinlan, and I just absolutely love her. She wrote, I think it's called Short Guide to Happy or something like that. But her writing is just it's really about the challenge of life, and how challenging life is, and how we're in this perspective that life is just supposed to be easy and free, and then it disappoints us and it puts us down, and then we're like, God, this is really hard. We go through things like our parents with dementia, and our kids go through eating disorders, and our family goes through financial disaster and cancer and disease and all of these things that could be so traumatic. And yet every single day we wake up and do it again and do it again and do our best. And that is the progression of life. The journey of life is that ebb and flow, and figuring out how to navigate it from a way that allows us not to get stuck in it, that allows us to come through it smarter and wiser and expanded and compassionate, because that compassion of our journey is what lends to resonating and community and connecting with other people. So if you've held yourself off from community and connecting with other people because you have this belief that you just want to be alone, that's okay. That's totally okay. But just acknowledge that there could be more for you. If you open yourself back up again, there could be more joy for you. There could be more laughter for you. There could be more connection for you if you send a different signal. You got to send a different signal. All right, I'm going to jump into this energy release because I'm feeling strongly. This is one of my gifts that I have really not been sharing. The last couple of shows I've done a little mini, but I'm going to do a little bit bigger so you can actually experience what it's like to have your energy field cleared. And I was just going to do the throat today, but something tells me that we should just go for it and just do all of them. So it'll probably be, I'm going to try to stick to 10 minutes, but it's hard because my eyes are closed. All right. So I'm going to invite you. Hopefully you're not driving. We are at minute 44. If you want to come back to this, 44:07. I want you to close your eyes. Ooh, my throat is already clearing. And take a long, slow, deep breath. So you're going to breathe in through your nostrils, and you're going to allow your abdomen to rise. So bring that breath all the way down into the bottom of your body. And hold it for a minute. And then let it go. And really empty your lungs out all the way, as much as you can. Breathing in and letting your abdomen rise. Try to bring that breath all the way down to the bottom of your spine. That is your root. And hold it and release. And one more time. And release. All right. And every time you release, I just want you to imagine that you are relaxing more, that you are letting go more, that you are letting all that tightness in your body, in your mind, behind your eyes, in your jaw, in your heart. Just allow that energy to start to open. Yeah, I can feel that. Good job. All right. So we're going to open the crown of the head. And we're going to bring in all this beautiful light. And I want you to imagine that that light comes in and it's swirling around your neural pathways. So it's coming into your brain and it's just doing a clean sweep so that your mind can be clear, so your mind can be focused, so you can let go and create the space that is the zero state awareness of your true being. And let that light come down the back of your head. And let it sweep across the back of the eyes. Yeah, let the muscles of the eyes go. A lot of your inability to see if you wear glasses is tired muscles behind the eyes, straining, tension, holding, being serious, being refused to see what's right in front of you. And letting that light come into your jaw, you hold a lot of anger, resentments, and stress. So let the jaw go slack. Yeah, really let it go. Bring that light into the throat. We're just clearing and cleansing and moving energy around the throat and bringing that light into your heart, just wrapping it in this beautiful, warm blanket of love, compassion. Bringing that light into your solar plexus, your power center, just activating and starting to pull from the energy field of your solar plexus all the way down into your sacral, which is below your belly button. We just let the energy of light swirl there. And then down into your root at the bottom of your spine. We imagine this light just swirling. So now you have all this swirly light all inside of you. In your chakras, your organs, it's activating and it's allowing you to release. Take another breath. All right. So in the root chakra, all the way at the bottom of the spine, I want you to imagine that there's a swirling energy of dark, inky smoke, dark, cloudy smoke. And I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to imagine that smoke is going up the center of your body and it's coming out the top of your head, and just continue to breathe and blow away until it's gone. And we're going to release the energy in the root chakra now. So take a deep breath. We're going to release all fears, all blockages to prosperity, all energetic connections to generational wounds and traumas. We're releasing all energy from the root chakra that causes you to be in fear of your security, the insecurities of life, the doubts in the universe, the doubts in yourself, releasing all energies of traumas to your security of being taken care of always being okay, of always knowing that everything is going to be okay. Yeah, release that. Releasing all energy that blocks your abundance, keeps you from really truly knowing who you are. Releasing all of that genetic connection to depression, to anxiety, to fear, to not having enough, to lack, the energies of abandonment, the energies of fear. Yeah, take another nice deep breath and just completely release whatever's in the root chakra that is blocking you from truly living a prosperous and functional, abundant life. Coming into the sacral chakra, we imagine swirling energy around the sacral chakra. We take a nice deep breath. We breathe out all blockages to our emotional balance. We release all blockages to our creativity. We release all connection that has created a dysfunction in our sexual energies, in our feminine energies, of our connections to who we are. The blockages to our creativity has caused us to be stagnant. We release all the stagnant energies. We release all the boredom energy. We release all of the apathy and the lack of motivation, the lack of inspiration. And we release all imbalances to the emotional field that has caused us to feel out of whack or out of control and not being emotionally intelligent. Yes, release all blockages to your emotional intelligence. And coming up into the solar plexus chakra, right on that belly button spot, we release all energies of powerlessness, unworthiness, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, the fear of failing, the fear of succeeding, the fear of not becoming who you say you want to be. Releasing all energies that have created a belief of unworthiness and undeservability. Yes. Releasing all energies of powerlessness. Yeah, take a deep breath on that one. Let that one go. It does not serve you. Releasing all fears and releasing all worries of judgment. Coming into the heart chakra, imagine that swirling energy in the heart chakra. We release all energies of feeling unlovable, releasing energies of abandonment, unforgiveness, resentments, regrets. We release all brokenheartedness, all distrust of self and distrust of others. We release all blockages that keep us from connecting with community, with love, and with those who will truly create more love and joy in our lives. Coming into the throat chakra, we fully release the throat, any blockages to our truth, any energies that tell us we can't speak, and any blockage between the heart and the throat that has caused us to close down our emotional field and not allowed us to speak the truth that will set us free. Yeah, take a deep breath and fully release that throat chakra, allowing you to speak your truth, allowing you to connect with your truth. We release all trauma responses in the throat chakra and any energy that has blocked our throats and caused us not to be the mature, spiritual, and connected beings that we truly are. And then coming into the third eye, which is right in the forehead, we release all blockages to our intuition, releasing us from anxiety, social anxiety, fear of judgment, fear and worry that we will say the wrong things, allowing us to connect fully to our intuition and our truth. So imagining that that third eye is connecting to our throat and our hearts, our solar plexus, our sacral, and our root, allowing us to fully connect with the truth of who we really are, and allowing us to believe from that, to think from that, to trust from that, to move from that. And then coming into the crown, we release any blockages to our spiritual connection, anything that has caused us to not allow the wisdom to come through us, allow the creativity to come through us, anything that has blocked our expression of infinite intelligence. We just ask that that releases now. So take a deep breath and imagine that the top of your head is being completely cleared, completely balanced, and completely free from anything that is causing you to feel that you are not in flow. And now that you have this beautiful clear channel, I want to bring in some higher vibrational light. So imagine this beautiful, warm, golden light streaming down from above, coming in contact with the top of your head and opening up your spiritual gate, allowing you to connect with the higher realms, the higher information, and the higher wisdoms. And then bringing that light into your third eye, activating that intuition in a stronger way, in a more connected way, in a way that you can know and believe that you are being led and guided by the life force that you are. Bringing that light into your throat, we fully clear that throat chakra so you may speak your truth, that you may speak from love and compassion and knowing and trust and the willingness to stand in your worthiness, the willingness to stand in what you deserve, the willingness to live your life from your truth. Bringing that light into your heart, we just heal this beautiful heart We allow all the energy around your heart and your lungs to be healed from grief, from heartbreak, from anything that has caused you to not live fully from the love that you are. So bring that heart chakra out. Imagine that light, that beautiful emerald green light all around you, beaming to others, beaming into the world, and creating a higher vibrational place for us all to live, and especially for you. Bringing that light into your solar plexus, we activate that power center, allowing you to truly know, to truly have confidence, to truly move in the direction of your dreams. Activating your sacral, opening up your creativity, inspiring you to share, to not be afraid to share your brilliance, allowing you to balance out your emotional field so you feel calm and you feel centered and you feel ready for more. And then activating that root chakra in full prosperity, in full connection to the abundance that is your birthright, in full security and faith and knowing and trust that you have universal guidance, co-creative powers, and a partnership that you can always call upon. So bring that light all the way around your body. Imagine that it's wrapping you up in this warmth, in the light of all that is, in the truth. Feel your body, feel the lightness in your body. Feel the clearing, the cleansing, and it may continue after we close, and allow yourself to maybe go within and be quiet some more. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Whew, we went over a little bit, so I got to close the show. But I am so blessed that you were here with me today. I'm so blessed for anyone that listens to this afterwards. Let me know if you have questions. This is such an awesome exercise to do anytime you want before bed, when you wake up in the morning, just to keep your energy fields clear. All right, guys, I love y'all. Whew, that was a quick one. That was a quick show. All right.